which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. We have some meeting minutes to approve. We are March 28th, 2016, regularly scheduled council meeting minutes. If there isn't any additions or corrections, we need a motion to have those approved.
I'll make that motion.
Motion on the floor by Donnie. Can we get a second? Second by Gina. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Agenda this evening.
I have a couple
Scott,
changes.
okay.
Glenn Martin would like to be added to the agenda. I'm sure we want to put him maybe after Doug or Heidi.
Okay.
It's not the American Legion, it's the Auxiliary Club.
Legion Auxiliary.
Yes, and then there's one other thing, the Initiative Foundation. I need to remove that. That was approved at December's meeting.
Okay.
So I misplaced that and added it to the agenda again, so we can remove the Initiative Foundation request.
Okay. Any other additions or corrections to the agenda? If not, I need a motion to have that approved.
Make a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the additions and deletions.
Motion on the floor by Mike. Can we get a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Donnie. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Don, Danny, Dave, welcome.
Thank you.
What can we do for you guys?
Well, awkwardly enough, we're here to request your consideration to help us out on a couple of items. I'll talk about part of it, that being our budget and our operating expenses, and then perhaps Donnie will talk about his project.
Okay.
So if you will bear with me for a few minutes, I will give you a little bit of history
She's
of
all
Pierz
yours,
Legion
Danny.
Park. Okay?
She's all yours.
Going back 20-some years ago, the school sold the ballparks, both of those ballparks over there, to the new corporation, 501c3 corporation that the American Legion set up. They sold the ballparks for $1 with the understanding that they would continue to use the ballparks and they would share in the maintenance costs thereof. Well, back in those days, charitable gambling was quite profitable. The Legion came along, put up light poles. The Lions came along, put up bleachers. The Fire and Relief Association put up concession stand and press box, and we were rolling along. And then turns out that we were actually quite self-sufficient for a lot of years. Our biggest fundraiser was the regional baseball tournament, for the amateur regional baseball tournament, which we've hosted for the last 15 years, I think it is. And that typically has made a good chunk of money for us, almost half of our budget for the whole year. Okay? It's been a very good deal. We've worked hard at it, and that went a long ways. Then for a number of years, we also got some subsection and section high school games. Not the section that Pierz plays in, but one section lower. Okay? Another good deal, because they paid us for all of the labor in doing it, the ticket takers, announcers, everything. All our people donated all of our time, so that was all profit. Plus we got the concessions. Between those two events, that was $5,000. Add that to about $8,500 that we used to make on the region thing, we were rolling along very, very nicely. And our goal, as part of this whole thing, was for the good of baseball, to promote baseball. It's good. So we weren't concerned about accumulating any more money. As long as we were meeting our annual needs, that was fine. But when the subsections moved out, or the sections moved out a couple of years ago, that cut into our profits. Now we've lost the sections, subsections, whichever order they went. But so that's $5,000 that we don't have. Now, regions are not as profitable as they used to be for a couple of reasons. Again, not things that are under our control. One, they expanded the number of teams that go to state from 2 to 4. Well, what that did is take some of the suspense away for those last games, so there wasn't quite as many people coming that way. We've got the competitive bidding for the regions has gotten a little tougher, so it's costing us a little more to do it. And then we've had some teams that came into the region that are not particularly good draws. Particularly in Nisswa, way on the north end, Freeport, way on the south end, don't bring a lot of fans to the regional tournament. We don't get the gate, but we got the concessions, and so, you know, fewer fans, fewer concessions. The gist of what I've summarized for you thus far, then, is that we have pretty much seen our income drop by about $7,500. Not all in 1 year, but over the last 3 years, the cumulative effect of that is about a $7,500 drop. Expenses, of course, haven't gone down. So we're faced with this situation where we have sucked down our cash reserves. We were working on those for a while. And we're in a situation where we need to find some sources of money. So we went to the school, and the school has agreed to pay us $3,000 more toward expenses than they did in the past, okay? Donnie did a wild game feed for us and generated over $1,500. So out of the approximately $7,500 that we feel we've lost, we found a way to get back about $4,500 of it, okay? And that leaves the gap. So we're sort of here asking if you would consider a significant contribution to our operating budget.
I guess this is, first thing, I guess, council, you guys speak up whenever you want, cut in here whenever you want. The first thing I have to say about the ball field and what that does for our community, not just as far as bringing business or people in or whatever, it's about quality of life here. It gives people something to do, you know, on the weekends, high school games, whenever, you know, whether it's little kids, whatever. So I think that's a very important asset to our community. Secondly, over the years, I guess I want to commend you, Danny, and your board of directors for having one of the nicest ballparks I've ever been at, amateur ballparks I've ever been at.
Thank you.
Goes a long way to being able to host some of those events you're talking about, and which is also a huge plus for our city in general. It's not
We like to think that not only have we brought a lot of people here, they've left with a good impression.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's, and we are proud of what we have
You should
accomplished.
be, and you should be, because, yeah.
There's marginal humility there, as I say
Yeah.
that, but we are.
No, it's a beautiful complex. It's always very well maintained. There is, I think it's well run by the board of directors. I'm not sure who's even all in on the board of directors, but I commend you guys for doing a good job with that. Kind of sad to see your revenue, you know, going down, and I don't know if there's anything that we can do as a council. I guess I would like to give some type of donation to these guys, and so we can continue having this asset that we have in our community. So
It is an asset that in a lot of communities, the city would own it. And then the city would be paying the insurance, and they might be paying utilities and whatever. So in this case, it is in effect a free asset for you without any obligations. And the city has enjoyed the benefits of that. The school has enjoyed the benefits of that for years. But
Yeah.
we're starting to run out of options, so.
do you guys have anything in mind, Denny, that you're asking the city to do as far as donations or what we, you know? Would you be looking at, I mean, I've kind of talked with, I knew you guys were coming, I kind of talked to, Donnie had mentioned it to me that you guys might be coming. I think that, I mean, he weighed a couple different things that we could do to try and help you guys out. Personally, I would like to give you guys some type of cash donation. That way you have more options on what to use that for. And it's cleaner for us, you know, on the other end.
Right.
You know, you mentioned a couple things we could do. I guess I'm a little more in favor of just giving you the cash, letting you do what you want with that. you guys see fit, you know, to use it for, and it makes it cleaner on the city's end, other than some electrical, maybe, rebates or subsidies, things of that nature down there. I'd rather just do it this way. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Like I said, feel free to jump in anytime you guys want, so.
Just a couple points. Right now, we're at $27.50 for our total of our support donations as far as what we've done so far. We typically budget $8,000, so we're 2,700 in. Last year, we budgeted $8,000 as well. We've only spent 6,700, so technically as of last year, we had $1,300 that we did not spend. But going back to 2014, we were about 1,050 over. And also, what they've spent in electric, last year was $1,055.57. So just, last year we didn't spend our full budget amount for support donations. As far as,
So their electric meter over there was
it's
$1,000.
about $1,000, give or take. So just so you guys have some facts on where we're at with donations and what the property costs per year for electric.
I noticed you guys been doing some fundraisers or have some stuff coming up too, Danny, which is.
We do, we have not exhausted all of our
Right.
resources, we continue to work on it. Some of those, however, are a longer term scenario.
Yeah.
Okay? We started a meat raffle and that's going to generate something, but you can't spend it till you've got it.
Right.
We're working on a possibility with youth baseball of a joint raffle calendar. Okay? But that's going to be for next year. Okay? We're looking at the possibility of some advertising on the fences, but again, youth baseball has done that first, and they sound like they're willing to share with us, but it's not all there yet either.
You've got some long-term plans, but short-term right now, you're in a pinch. Kinda.
Well, depending how those fundraising events work out too, you can't never guarantee how they're gonna, how
Yes.
much money they're gonna generate.
So I have as I said, I've got $3,000 in my mind that I gotta figure out where we're going to get from somewhere to basically be able to go into next year, starting out with enough cash to get started.
Jenny, if I would make a proposal to the council that we would try and give you guys $1,500 this year out of our donated funds.
I'd jump up and down and clap and be totally ecstatic. I would think that was a very generous offer.
I'm not opposed to that at all, and I'm not opposed to giving them a break somehow on the electric. I mean,
Do you guys use all, like, throughout, Bob, is that meter going consistently all year? Do
There's
you
not
guys-
much usage in the winter.
No, they're paying, there's, where'd that go here? There's multiple months where it's just the standard
Right.
amount. Maybe we shut the power off, or, I mean,
It
that
just
was,
doesn't move.
it just doesn't
it
move. So
doesn't
then-
move in the winter, there's nothing.
Are we
spent.
gonna, we charge them a monthly?
There's one yard light, that's there.
How much is
on
that a
Mayfield.
month, Scott?
around,
Say they didn't use anything in January, February, how much is their bill a month?
like, December's bill was $33.97.
The only reason that was because of my Christmas lights, which I end up reimbursing the board back for, otherwise it would be the basic charge of.
Jump at $22 around that,
Yeah, maybe more than that some months, but the base charge is what, around $10?
Correct. And then
Okay,
first.
that's what it would normally be in September, October, November, December, January, February, maybe March.
So it looks like there's, a good 3-4 months of activity there, then the rest of the months are the standard fee. When you just look at an overall bill of the month, there's just, boom, it jumps up to,
What did you have in mind, like, as far as the electric?
I'm open to that too.
I mean, I guess, I'm not sure how we go about doing it, I guess that's
I don't
my
know
question.
either.
Do we take the
Well,
bill
they
off
give-
in a month it's not being used? I mean, I know that's not a whole lot of savings to you guys, or what were you thinking?
I was thinking if we go with $1,500 gas to them, make it even 2,000, and knock 500 off the electric bill. however we can possibly do that, I don't know, you know? It's a start, it's something.
How would we do that, Scott, on our
I would say the best, cleanest way would be to probably just pay it to
$2,000, I know, otherwise it's
to the electric.
It's gonna get tough to track and be able to do.
From an auditor standpoint,
I mean, I would be open to anything you wanna give us. I'm reluctant to have you set a precedent that you might be tough to justify
Well,
in something else.
Well, the thing of it is, I mean, it's, yeah, and I guess the way we need to look at it as a city council too, is that, you know, all dependent on the year, you know, I mean, I don't know how you guys are gonna be sitting next year, year after.
Well, you just keep
All
coming
dependent-
back and we work together. and
Well,
Yeah,
or something,
yeah,
you know?
I'm not, all depends on the city's finances year and year and year, I mean.
That was the
look
only
at it-
reason I was looking at it from a financial
Yeah.
standpoint. If we have somebody else, or that budget line is only $8,000, well, if we get 15, and then we could come
Yeah.
up, cut an electric deal somehow, it's $500 left there in that budget line in case something else comes up that we need to donate to or whatever. But I'm fine either way. I agree that it's a real
It
big
has to be
asset to the
later.
city, and
And we would like to keep it at the level that it is, because we have discussed, so do we not drag the field as much? Do we
yeah.
not take care of it as much? That just doesn't make any
No.
sense when we worked as hard as we have.
Yeah, I know,
To get what
that's
we
the
got.
bad part, that's the bad part, yeah, you hate to see.
You
it
know, you
go-
got a
start
beautiful
going to hell.
field, I don't think you should change
No,
any of
No,
that.
I don't either. No, that'll hurt us more than anything, you
Okay.
know, so. Well, can we get a motion on the floor?
I make a motion to donate $2,000 to the Pierz ball field.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor by Mike to donate $2,000 for this upcoming season. Can we get a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Gina. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye. Aye.
And I'm gonna abstain because I'm on that board now.
How much you getting paid?
Nothing. Then it's an aye.
Sincerely, thank you.
No, no.
Good
Keep-
job,
Keep up
guys.
the good
Keep
work
up.
down there, guys. I mean, it's a huge asset to us and, yeah, I mean, if we can help, I'm sure we can.
Goes
do
a
something.
long, long way. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Good luck, you guys. Thanks, Don. Don, you wanna talk about your project down there, what you planned on doing or whatever?
I don't know if you guys, Scott's got a sketch or something there?
You can share with you, Doctor.
Yeah, bring a chair up.
No, that's all right. He's got a sketch of the ball field where,
That's a permit?
that's for a permit, yes, to build a 6-foot high, 30 by 20 raised patio deck, stamped concrete, and it has to get 72 feet of ramp on there for handicap accessible. And I think that'd be a nice addition to the ballpark.
I do too. What did you plan on doing, Donnie? I mean, what type of construction were you thinking on doing? I mean,
It's all block,
concrete?
concrete,
Okay,
yeah. And that'd be stamped, planking, concrete stained, and it'd look nice, and we'll put tables, chairs, umbrellas up there,
nice.
and donate it to the ballpark.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, very nice.
And then, Varsolia has the plans, and he's gonna put his little stickies on it, and I have to send it to a consultant to get it approved
Yep,
for his signature, or whatever needs else to be done to it
okay,
before we start on
okay.
it. And then I was.
First of
wondering-
all, looks like you'll probably need some approval. Shouldn't be a planning and zoning issue, there are well
That'll
within
be
property
approved
lines.
tonight. Plan
Okay.
and zoning portion of it.
Okay. So you guys are gonna go out and verify everything, or you're already
Already have.
okay with it? You
Yep.
already have? Okay,
But we've signed off.
okay. So at this point in time, council needs to approve. Oh, let's see, new patio with ramp at the Legion Ballpark, third baseline area. Can we get a motion to have that approved?
I'll do that now compared to at the end. I'll make the motion.
Oh, Don's here kind of presenting,
Oh,
so
all right.
let's see if we can bust.
I'll make that motion.
There's a motion on the floor now by Donnie, can we get a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Gina. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah.
It should be a nice addition,
Yeah.
and once again, thank you guys from the Legion Park. Next item on the agenda.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What, I would like to know what the leash law is here.
Leash law.
Yeah, is there a leash law?
Yes, it's in our ordinance, and I'm just gonna give you a memory recap, because I don't have the exact verbiage with, but your dogs either have to be on a leash or in direct supervision of the owner.
So no leash?
That's kind of what it.
If you're on your
states.
personal property, no leash, but if they.
Yeah.
if they go
Personal
on-
property, yeah.
Yep, but if they cross into a sidewalk or on the street, then they're in violation of the no leash law.
Well,
There's,
there's,
Eric, you should take a look at that again once you get, because I thought I read that here a couple months ago. I was looking at it for some strange reason.
Okay.
And I thought it said either you had to be on, the dogs had to be on a leash or in direct supervision. So check on that just to make sure.
I will.
Okay.
okay, well, there's, I can't remember what it was, about a month ago. I had my dog right in the backyard, and, big dog come running through, and luckily I was out there. You know, sometimes we let her out, but now we don't. Dog come running through and come running at my dog, you know, Scott knows killer, you know, so, goes there, but,
I see you walking.
yeah, and, the thing is the dog went after my dog. Well, of course, I was out there, and I ran towards that dog, and it took off. So I jumped in my vehicle and followed that thing, and went all the way over back to the trailer park over there.
Okay.
And then there's a guy and a girl, sometimes either or, and they run two dogs. And as I come up, because I yelled at the guy once before, and I didn't know that law, but, because the dog noticed my dog right away, and my dog, of course, scared to death, jumped in my arms. And, I just told the guy, I says, you know, you should have the dog on a leash or something.
If you don't have a very obedient dog that will not stay by you or listen to you or whatever, yeah, it should.
Yeah, well, because he had his bicycle coming down my road one day, and the dog ran up through my yard. I wasn't even, the dog wasn't outside, but, you know, ran right through the yard, ran right around our houses and everything.
Do they have two dogs?
A black one and a brownish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, the thing is I always walk, well, down by around your house and everything, you know. And if my dog does his job out in that field and that's fine, or up by the other field up there, you know, that's fine. But, I mean, if she goes on somebody's yard, or even near, I'll pick it up. And the thing is I walked out of my house yesterday, and I don't know who walked down my road, Cassie Street there. I always go that way and up around by your house and back down. And this lady comes running out of country home. She apparently, I think she has one or two dogs. And she come out and asked me if I just walked up the street the other way, and I went, no, I said, I just come out of my house. And I never walk that side of country home. I never do. And she starts yelling at me, she goes, well, a little dog just like yours just walked up the street and let the guy that was holding it, let it walk right in the grass there, and did its job. And she says, and I'm gonna get yelled at because I've got the two dogs. And I said, well, believe me, if it's on somebody's yard, I says, I've got my bags right here, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it was, but yeah, this lady was kinda irate, which I can see because she's got her two dogs.
Yeah.
And,
Toby, it's exactly what I said, it's gotta be done.
On your own property.
Yep, you can, dogs can run around your own property, but as soon as it touches the sidewalk, public street, it's
Okay.
in violation of the other law.
oh,
Very good,
okay.
thanks, Eric. So, yeah, if, I guess if you see that, or somebody is on the sidewalk, street, or whatever, and they have their dog and it's not according to Eric on the lease, give us a call.
Yeah, well, those two dogs, one day, the girl was riding her bicycle, and the two dogs ran right out in the street, shot right out in the street. I mean, just, well, 1 block from here. And a car slammed on its brakes, you know, and something like that. You know, Jesus,
Yeah.
you know, you're letting your dog almost get killed besides.
Yeah.
But,
No, and I know there are people who like to just let their dogs, you know, run or whatever, and unfortunately, it just doesn't work in town. You know, it just doesn't work. There's too
Yeah.
many things they can get into, and.
like I said, I guess it's not so bad, but, you know, when I walk the sidewalk, you know, the dogs are right on the sidewalk there. You know, clean it up.
Yeah.
people walk there, you know,
Absolutely.
I just don't get it, I just don't get it.
Now, when you figure it out, give us a holler.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you see it, just give us a call here and we'll have Eric or Jason or one of the park.
Who's there on duty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go take care of it.
Can I bring up one more thing?
Absolutely.
It's, now that the snow's all gone, you don't have to worry about that, but Eric knows about it. My mother lives here now, and over at Harmony House, and she goes to the clinic right down the street here.
Okay.
And, you can't get out of the car. They plow the snow right there, and then whoever does the sidewalk plows it right back. So you cannot get out of the vehicle, you know,
So
something should
kind of
be
in
just.
between the curb and
Yeah.
On the edge of
Yeah,
the
you can't
sidewalk.
open the door, I mean, my mom's got a walker, well, she can't get out in a snowbank this big. You know.
Yeah, and that's
And
kind of
why
hard in
can't-
places, so there's no boulevard there to
Yeah,
kind
but I
of
mean, can't
replace
that
it,
snow
but
be removed or something?
I don't know, I guess I'd have to talk with our public works committee and find out, you know.
Yeah, part of the problem I see with that site, there's no off-street parking.
Yeah.
There's no off-street parking that
No,
allows
no,
a
no.
handicapped person to get out properly.
Yeah.
They have to park on the street. Of course, we can remove the snow. I mean, that's not an issue, but it's just the cost.
Yeah,
And where do you start, where do you stop?
because we have a lot of places in town that don't have boulevards.
There's a boulevard there.
Is
It's
there
narrow.
enough of a boulevard there to put the
It's
snow on?
narrow. It's 3
Okay.
feet.
Yeah,
It fills
it's on
up
the corner, so no matter if there's a boulevard or not, when you get to the corners, they fill up because you're, of course, cleaning that whole intersection.
A lot of,
I went to, and I spoke to, the Villa maintenance, just to try and have them assist too, because like you said, there's many of them that stopped there. I think they went out and they scraped a little bit, but it didn't do any good for
Well, they scrape by that fence and you
Yep.
can't,
anybody.
you
to
open
get
up the
out,
door, you
so
can't get out anyway with the
What else
fence.
they can do?
that's a good point, Eric. A lot of times that maintenance, it's a lot of work, but you can clean that boulevard off with a snow blower. You have to blow it onto your grass.
Just like Holy Trinity, that's what I
There's
said.
people that do it.
Do it just like Holy Trinity does, get it, and it, cause look at the buses and.
That's correct.
So they could do it, but I went and talked to him and actually spoke to him twice on his behalf, and
No.
like I said, it didn't go anywhere.
I mean, if I still had my compact tractor that I had out in Glenwood, I'd drive it over there and blow the snow towards the villa, but.
Well, why don't you guys just try and make a mental note of that for next year and let's talk to them beforehand and see if we can convince them to try and keep that clean for the rest.
We got a couple retired guys here that probably take care of that. Fisher.
I'd love to.
Okay, that's it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate the concern you have. We have some golf courses looking at a couple of extra carts. We seem to be running short every weekend. Dan, you wanna come and kinda down and explain what we got going?
Last 3, 4, 5 years, I'm pretty consistent on running out of carts on big holiday weekends, Father Day weekend, 4th of July, Labor Day, and so it's kind of part of work stuff. The last couple of years, we've kind of been talking about it, getting a couple extra carts, see if that'll help out. This year, I took the initiative to go look at some with Toby, and I'd like to kind of found 2 to get us through for a while. They're 2010s, Easy Goes, $3,100 a piece. And I guess I would like to purchase 2 of them. Our fleet from 22 to 24 carts.
I make a motion that we purchase 2 golf carts at $3,100.
Second that one.
There's a motion on the floor by Mike and second by Don to purchase 2 Easy Go golf carts. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
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 Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. We are gonna be looking next year at, and we haven't quite sat down as a park board to kind of figure out exactly how we wanna do it yet. I know the talk has always been, we wanna start replacing carts down there 5 at a time, 6, 7, whatever the case may be. So next year, we're gonna start to, I think, make a plunge and start purchasing some new carts. We'd like to do is to, instead of trading them in, kind of checking them with the trade.
Yeah.
I never have to figure that out.
I did get some numbers today.
Oh, did you?
He emailed me some
Oh,
numbers and
good.
stuff, so.
Why don't you, yeah, forward them on to me or something,
I can get a copy.
Okay.
Today or whatever.
So, yeah, we'd like to put those out for public offer. You know, we get a lot of requests every year to, if we're trading, selling carts or updating our carts to put them out for bids. And I know I must get at least a half dozen a year. I know Mike gets them, he must get them, I think every week. So it'd be kind of nice to, Don probably gets them too. It'd be kind of nice to make those available to the public if we can, so. Just kind of a heads up with that.
Yeah,
We're all ready to go?
for the most part.
Okay.
Since the weather warms up,
Okay.
school hasn't canceled the match tomorrow, so should be on.
Wednesday should be the day?
Wednesday, it'll be open for the public.
Outstanding. Good. Thanks, Alan. And Scott, that American Legion Auxiliary, that was for just Poppy Day?
Yep, so I just wanted to let the council know, and I guess let the public know that they'll be here, for selling copies and things like that. So it'll be the 13th of May, so approximately.
Friday.
It's a Friday. And what they just wanna use City Hall for, yeah, kinda come to warm up, and others are out selling businesses, switch out, things like that, so.
Pierz Police Department Squad. Eric.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
What I have for you guys is, Toby came to me, talked about what I had budgeted for a new squad car. In our dedicated line, I have $35,000 dedicated for a new police car. Last time we went through this, we gave the one, didn't give it to them, we sold it to the fire department for a pretty fine cost that helped the fire department for another rescue rig to take to wherever. The squad car that we have right now is just shy of 100,000 miles, and it's worth between $10,000 and $11,000 if we traded it. To me, it's not worth letting somebody take that car for that kind of amount. And my suggestion is let the city keep it, take the dedicated funds to do it. I need an additional $10,000 to $11,000 to complete that. That's what the squad car is worth from you guys to finish the mission of a new squad car. Instead of going to a Tahoe, it's gonna be a Ford. Fords are $27,000 some dollars, another Tahoe is $37,000. I can't say that I come to a city and say I'm gonna spend another $10,000 on a squad car just because it's a Tahoe, it's bigger. I'm going with what they recommend, size, efficiency, and go that route.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to keep our other squad. I think right now, just because of the times, I know there's a lot of surrounding communities that have a lot of issues that we don't have. Even though I start to see our call log slowly picking up and stuff, I want to have a greater police presence here in town. And I think that can be more achievable by a second squad, and a lot of times having our two officers on at the same time during certain times.
And the budget I have set up now can sustain it. The fuel has actually, since Jason's come on full-time, has actually come down. Jason spends most of his time in the squad car, which is great, but he's good at parking and being stationary. Donnie can state this for, he's out checking the businesses with the flyers that I asked the officers to get out and put on doors. So it's just, Jason does a wonderful job. So when I'm not working, the one squad car's always in
Quit a
town.
little earlier though, you can.
He does a good job, but it's just, so for me to finish it, the squad car itself is $27,000, and there's $27,000 worth of equipment. And I have budget lines that I can sustain on some of it, but what I'm asking for is $11,000 to take care of purchasing a squad car sometime this year.
We should have more than enough additional money in electric funds. Scott, how's that sound?
Overall total, when you start looking at the electric, we transfer 30,000 to the fire department for such as fire trucks, things like that, any kind of heavy equipment use. Right now, the electric fund cash balance, just our working funds, we're at about 226,000, overall total investments is 1.472, so almost 1.5 million, or 1.5 million with overall investments and working.
We wouldn't have to muck your own CDs or anything like that to take it out of.
No, I would request not to. We do have some money markets we can take it out of. So, and we also have just our basic, we didn't transfer the full amount of our last year's which was just happened here a few months ago, but we transferred 150,000 in. But I think we could probably just take it out of the current account.
Yeah.
If that's the way the council wants.
If that's the way we can do it, I mean, I don't wanna have to cash in on any of our savings. And
No,
electric
I
funds if we don't have to.
I don't think that'd be necessary, but, and we also, and if that's the way the council wants to move forward with, is the electric, that's where we'd have funds available there.
What do you guys think?
I think it's needed.
I do too. Sitting on the police commission, I know there's times when Jason comes up here to get the squad from Eric at their shift change or whatever, and I was up here one afternoon and Eric wasn't here and Jason was waiting and a call came in for a medical in town and Jason was in his full uniform, right? He just jumped right in his car and went, Is that okay? Yeah, no.
It is, but.
The
when
community, the feedback I hear since we put on another officer full-time has been nothing but positive. People like it. There's a lot of things that go on in this town that Toby, you and I are privy to that know of being on the police commission, and I don't wanna see it getting any worse.
Well, just to add a couple of points too, just looking back on Eric's budget for the last 3 years, he's given back an average of $6 grand back in the general fund. So you take 2 years, there's
Correct.
Yeah, me and Mike gotta take him in the office and pretty much squeeze that out of him, otherwise.
Mike, close to you and he's got a taser.
And he got-
Both hands. You can do that, man. They're not good aim, I know.
Like we said last meeting, Pierz is the busiest city behind Little Falls. You have Morrison County, Little Falls, and then Pierz has higher calls than Motley and Royalton, so it's a busy
We're second in population as well, so.
And the other one that has been really helping out again is Josh Andrew. When he can, he picks up a squad car, so it's just great. So it's another squad car, it's great. And for me to see it put on the road for 11,000, it's better to see to keep it for a spare and use it when we want and have that extra car around.
I would make a motion that we move ahead on police purchasing another squad.
Here's a motion on the floor from Mike, can we get a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Gina, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief.
Council, can we add something to that?
Sure, absolutely. I wanna make a motion for that transfer to.
Correct. Let's make a motion for a transfer, what account you want to take it in the full amount, what amount.
So we need a motion to take it out of the current working fund of the electrical,
At 11,000?
$11,000.
I'll make that motion.
Motion on the floor by Don,
I'll second it.
second by Mike, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Initiative Foundation.
No, that was scratched.
Scan.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, got
Public hearing.
it scratched off here, but I couldn't on my computer, sorry. Scott, electrical account update, was that the $1,816 write-off we were looking at?
Let's jump back to, there's
You gonna do the
one.
rental? Public hearing, set public hearing.
Okay.
So,
Rental ordinance. Eric, you wanna stay up here or come back up here for a second? Thanks, you guys.
See you guys, thanks.
We're trying to talk about what we've been working on as far as the rental ordinance and things of that nature.
The rental ordinance is sort of to not make it tougher, but to enhance our ordinances that we have on the books currently, to make our rental landlords, the renters, more accountable for what's going on in some of the properties. Our ordinance was quite old compared to the surrounding areas, And for me, it's a chance of keeping the renters accountable, but now I can also hold the landlord, the owner, accountable for actions that are going on within inside one of their facilities within the last 12 months. And I think it's just gonna help us keep some of the riffraff out of the community and just keep it a healthier, cleaner community by going forward with this ordinance.
Yeah, it's something we've been looking at for now, probably hasn't been quite a year, or has it been?
It's been over a year.
It's been over
A year and a half we've been toying with this thing.
Yeah, we have been kind of throwing around different ideas, looking at other communities, what they're doing, and kind of drafting something that we think will work here. So, I mean, there's gonna be a registration fee basically for the rental units.
A single fee.
Huh?
We started to discuss a single fee for
A
now.
single fee, yep, doesn't matter if you have 24 units or you have a single family dwelling that you're renting out. So those are some of the things we'll be covering in that public hearing, but just wanted to kind of give the community a little heads up on what it is and what's going on with it, so.
It's somewhere the landlords don't have to be scared of what we're gonna be doing.
No.
They're gonna see how it's gonna actually work in their favor to help clean some of the messes that they have that they can't get rid of themselves. So it's just, to me, it's gonna keep us a lot healthier in the city of Pierz.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Eric.
So what days are we thinking would be a good time? April, we're gonna be tied up, we have a public hearing coming up on the 25th. And so I'm hoping for either May 9th or May 23rd, if we can set something so it's established, I think, between now and then.
We do the May 9th.
Yeah.
5 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
We'll show it an hour before the our council meeting. But I think for the most part, everything's ready to go, we just need to get it on the agenda.
Can we get a motion to have that public hearing set?
I'll make that motion.
Motion on the floor by Don for May 9th, public hearing based on a rental ordinance at 6 p.m. Can we get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Stephanie. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously.
When we run that public hearing, then Scott, you and Eric will lead it, or, you
Yeah, I'll
know.
be there for sure.
Now we can get back to the electrical count updates, 2013 and prior. These ones we talked about the last meeting?
Correct. So obviously, we were at like 300, I wanna say it was, give or take, around that amount. So you can see what the difference was, so from 2013 to now. I mean, from 2013, back in the past, it goes all the way back to 2007. We're at $1,800, and there's one large one, and, you know, I think between Carrie and I and Eric, we can all agree that these have been continually worked with, and we're just not moving
You're
forward.
exhausted,
Correct.
we're spending,
We're spending money trying to track the money down, and it's becoming,
we need to write it off.
Because
So-
it's no longer recoverable.
Yeah.
correct. So, but obviously this cuts that amount in, for sure, half of that 4,300 that we were speaking about last meeting, so this is a much smaller amount.
That's nice to see.
If it'd be okay to write this amount off, we will continue to work on the other ones that are out there. We have been as well, but I think that'd be a good step to start with.
I know from past audits, the auditor doesn't like this stuff hanging on our books forever either.
Correct.
If it's uncollectible, we should probably try and get it off the books.
And I will, upon approval, if you decide to move forward with this, I will double check with Todd and everything, make sure everything is
Okay.
correct and move forward.
What's the total amount to be right off?
Total amount, it's $1,816.03.
Well, if the council would like to, we will need a motion to have that written off the books.
I'll make, Steph, you made it.
I'll make the motion.
Motion on the floor by Steph, can we get a second? By Donnie, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Don, do we have any other building
So
permits
what
other
we
than
have.
the one? Okay,
So we're good.
give you a little heads up on that stuff. stuff, they came in to present Frankie's project, so we did application. Department reports, we have Bobby O, Public Works. Is there another one that helps her out? Oh, Mikey? Thanks, Eric.
Included in your packet was a bid from Mike Schaefer Seal Coating. We've been doing this for a number of years, basically crack sealing our streets, focusing on the streets that are in good to excellent condition. Basically what happens is when there's a crack in the street, he'll go through a router at the first time 3/4 inch wide, 3/4 inch deep, and fill it with a rubberized crack filler. And the rubber expands and contracts with the heat and cold to keep that crack sealed. That's why that reservoir is created. The cracks that have already been routed, it's just a matter of blowing and cleaning and sealing them again. So I have a number of streets listed on here. We're kind of on a 2 or 3 year rotation on. That's kind of what it takes to keep them cracks sealed. But
You wanna just kinda run through those streets quick, Bob?
so we have Cassie Street, Faust Street, Park Avenue, Carr Street, Capsner Street, Oak Street, Vincent Street, First Avenue Southwest, Edward Street.
Very good.
Total bid was $8,830. I did check with some other contractors and suppliers, and he's quite in line for what he charges, and he does excellent
He
work.
does
so
do a very, very good job.
I would rather just stick with him on that.
Especially, you can help support one of our local businesses as well, which is always
Right.
nice. So we will need a motion to have, the crack sealing, estimate approved by, Mike Schaefer Seal Coating.
Make a motion.
Motion on the floor by Gina, can we get a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mike, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously.
At a previous council workshop, I believe Don had talked about Centennial Drive, doing an improvement on that street. Basically what we're looking at doing is in 2021 is when the county is gonna do the street just to the south of that. And we're hoping at that time to realign Centennial Drive. What we'd like to do in the meantime is just to put down a 3/4 inch paving over the top of what's existing out there on Centennial Drive, just to kind of get up to that point. It's to the point now where there's a lot of patching that's gonna be required every single year. And to do that could be done, but this is maybe an option just to do that 3/4 inch pave and get us by.
Yeah, I mean, that thing is with all the little patches and stuff, it makes the roads a damn rough.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's gonna burn so much of Boston, and Fred's time up all the time, have to
Yeah.
go out there and patch
Yeah.
every second week.
Right.
It's a 5-year Band-Aid or 6 maybe, but I think that quote is good.
I checked with Tri-City and then I solicited a bid from Knife River. I didn't hear back, but then Anderson Brothers gave me a bid. And then Tri-City was the cheapest bid.
How much was it, Bob?
$32,648. Plus the tack is, so they put down tack coat between
Yeah.
first, and that was $1,400. I should have had that total.
Is that dressing, side dressing and stuff on this road too, Bob, or is it
No.
gonna need any with just that little bit of lift?
Just that little lift is just gonna have to live
Okay.
with the shoulder. We did do the shoulder last year. Might have to before we reconstruct it.
The whole thing too, by putting this lift on, so when we do redo Centennial, if we do go with the grinding and going down,
Yep.
we're adding, this 3/4 inch is gonna,
Be right in the mix.
we'll grind in and mix and make a better base for the, when we do redo it. So, you can almost consider some of this as saving cost in 5-6 years down the road
Yeah.
with,
Yep, absolutely.
So I have a better total here. It's $34,048. $34,048.
And Tri-City.
Correct. And the cracks are gonna come through. The cracks will come through, but hopefully they'll hold together.
First couple of years, it should be pretty nice anyway.
I would think so. It'll smoothen it out.
Yep.
So,
Good, well, somebody will have to make a motion to have Tri-City.
I'll make a motion that we accept and move forward with Tri-City's bid for, what was it, $34,048.
Motion on the floor by Mike, can we get a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Donnie, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously.
The last time we were at Duluth, Minnesota Power explained to the municipals that they had a meter leasing option where they would install their meters and they would own meters in a municipal if they chose to. I was just asked them to give us a price on what that would cost. So he actually came back today with a price, and this is, so they install the meters at their cost, they own the meters, they maintain them. So we would lease the meters, and they would give us a read at the end of every month, $39,744 per year is their price for leasing the meters. The last time I remember pricing out a system where we bought all the meters and did the upgrade, it was around $120,000. So, I guess just looking at this, I haven't solicited any other bids, but.
You know, actually, if you look at down the road, I mean, we're talking $40,000 basically a year in leasing costs.
3 years.
In
we
3
have
years,
our
we'd
own
have our own
paid for.
system.
Right, I mean, just Minnesota Power right now is upgrading their system, that's why this piggyback on their system
Okay.
would work well, but at a glance, it looks high to me, so.
It looks high to me too, and then we always have the possibility, I should say, because it's an annual leasing cost. You know, what's that cost gonna do in 3 years or 5 years? We're
Right.
looking at 45,000 and 50,000.
Right. So it just kinda gives us a gauge, I guess, to go by if we.
Is there any other company, I mean, could you solicit some?
Oh, sure.
I mean, I think we should keep pursuing, just because you know, at some point, I look at you guys out there reading meters and, you know, we're getting behind the 8 ball, we need to stay up.
Well,
But
yeah,
we gotta do it at a reasonable cost, too.
yeah, you know, accuracy, I think is important. And,
Right.
You know, these guys, when you're going out and you're reading, how many meters do you have, Bob?
740.
740 meters. To not try and make a mistake when you're jotting all those numbers down. It's
Yeah.
pretty tough.
Part of my hesitation with upgrading the system too, Minnesota Power upgraded their last system not that long ago. So a lot of these systems and meters aren't that good
Okay.
compared to what we have, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
The meters that are 34 years old, mechanical, they're adjustable,
Yeah.
they're higher quality.
Really?
They're
I mean,
fixable, too,
They're
you know.
fixable, you can actually test them and you can adjust the speed
Oh,
of the
okay.
you know, the digital ones. I've actually replaced a lot more digital ones since I've started buying digital, but they've been failing in the last 12, 13 years compared to the ones that have been out there that we have.
Oh, really?
So that's part of my hesitation, but
Okay. Well, why don't you guys give it some thought?
Yeah.
And, you know, do some shopping around. It's nothing we have to do today or tomorrow, but, yeah. See what else you can come up with, and if you think it's gonna be worthwhile to pursue.
yeah.
The electrical committee, I think, is, Donnie and Mike and you and Scotty, and, yeah, take a look and see what you can come up with, and go from there.
Have they contacted you about the annual meeting yet?
I haven't heard anything. We met with them a month ago. Yeah, started from the first or second week of June.
Pushing it off a little bit, what was April? Good.
The last thing I had was we did a nighttime sign inspection that was required for the retro reflectivity of our signs. So a driver 60 or older has to go around with me, so it's Fred driving. I was taking notes on the computer.
What do you see, he's old? Oh, yeah. Say that loud into the camera.
I know he's over 60.
Fred's gonna love that. He'll be coming in for a raise.
I gotta drive by tomorrow morning and yell out, hey, you're 60 years old.
You might say thank you.
So he tells me if the sign reflects, and then I say, he just tells me good, fair, poor.
Okay.
And then I do the inventory. I mean, we have an inventory already, kind of by driving route,
Sure.
so we just take that and just. So anyway, in 2011, we did a number of signs, replaced and installed them. So for the most part, our signs are really good.
Good.
maybe 5 or 10 that need to get replaced, so
Good.
take care of that this summer.
Thanks for staying on that stuff, Bob.
Yep.
Greatly appreciate it. Thanks. Eric, did you have anything else?
No, I'll have my monthly report next meeting, so I'm good, Toby.
Okay, thanks, Eric. Dan?
I have one more item. Another clubhouse staff I'd like to put on. Still looking for probably one more, but I think,
1 to 2.
1 to 2, depending on how these work out in the hours, and I guess, but for now, this should get me started. I'd like to hire Nicole Hoheisel. I'll take it from there.
She's still in, she's in
She's-
high school yet.
No, she's the
College?
freshman in college.
Okay. So we can't get her here right away, that's a little bit long.
I think she comes back in a couple weekends, but she got there, she's got her so.
I make a motion that we hire Nicole. Nicole Hoheisel.
Okay, motion on the floor by Mike.
I'll second that.
Second by Stephanie. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Perfect. Thanks, Dale.
We'll get me started, and I guess, set up people, first Mondays for board meetings, May 2nd.
May 2nd.
First part board meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay. Don't forget, Dan, to hook up with Scotty and make sure you get your people, whatever employee right to know and all that other stuff done and taken care of too. Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
All right, I got a couple things. We did budget this year for a farmer's market, so I guess Carrie and I would just like your blessing to move forward with that and try and get something moving in the next month or so.
Where are you gonna put it?
We're working on that. So,
Out in your
we have some
parking lot,
ideas,
down
but
We actually did have a couple of good ideas.
we had some ideas,
Yeah.
but we just, before we announce where we're looking, I wanna talk to the landowners, business owners, things like that, before we can move forward, and there's also some things I wanna discuss with the Pierz group and some others, so.
So we'll have that info by the next council meeting or whatever, Scott.
Yeah, next couple of weeks to a month, depending on how active,
Okay.
proactive everyone is in regards to letting us use a site. The other thing was, about 2 years ago, we were working on some grant funding for, getting some bike racks in the town. Anywhere from 3 to 5 bike racks in town. So there's different stipulations that go along with the grant funding to get these bike racks. So I just kind of waited to hear what other communities had to say about the bike racks. With the return on some of the issues they had, some of the concerns that other publics and communities have had on these bike racks, I just thought maybe it would be more fun in a way, but also more meaningful to pursue some funding in our own community, try and get a few bike racks within our community, and theme them to the city of Pierz, whether it's the city of Pierz logo, the school's logo, the Lions Club, whatever different. Fire department, other different things in our town rather than artistic designs that people are unfamiliar with, because that was a concern amongst a number of other communities. So I guess with that being said, I'm checking with Bob and checking with Eric to make sure they're out of right of ways, they're not a safety concern, those different things. That is all first and foremost, the most important thing. But then how, maybe we'll team up with get a bike rack down there to get some of the campers up in town, things like that to help our business district. Get some more traffic, some more foot traffic on our streets and in our businesses. So with that being said, I would like permission to move forward and start coming up with some ideas and maybe reaching out to people for funding. Is there any issues with that or ideas or different thoughts?
It's a good idea. Why don't we get a motion to move forward with that?
Make the motion.
Motion on the floor by Gina. Can we get a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mike. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously.
March 31st, that balance with the bank statement was $691,794.78.
Anything else we got coming up there, Linda?
Not with our CDs being renewed in 5 years.
Okay. Motion to approve the
I
treasurer's
make a
report.
motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Motion on the floor by Mike, can we get a second?
Second that.
Second by Donnie, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Claims? How come our bills are so low this month?
Last month, there was just longer time. Minnesota Power came in twice, so Minnesota Power is a very large amount of that, but we're also kind of at that point where golf course isn't going quite yet. Public Works isn't having a lot of bills like seal coating stuff coming up, so it's actually kind of a good thing. I even had to check it like.
Yeah, no,
I checked
I'm
it like
thrilled.
3 times, I was just like, there's something wrong.
I felt like
I
Danny
was
Rusty,
missing
I was ready to do a backflip.
But Minnesota Power was doubled up from last month's bill just because of how it fell with the meetings and approving claims, so it should be back to normal next month.
Sounds good, we will need a motion to pay the claims for the month.
Motion. Your claim?
With that dollar amount, $29,127.23. There's a motion on the floor by Gina to approve. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mike. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Anybody else have anything? No.
Motion to adjourn.
There you go. There's a motion on the floor by Donnie to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Gina. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you, everybody.
I got to hear Stephen's speech.
Did you?
She said, do you have a meeting tonight? Yes. Well, Stephen's the last speech, you have to stay.
Yeah.
Just said kick him up a little bit then, dang it.
Yeah, awesome. For sure. She did a good job. We're doing good. How long do I have to take to get you the picture?
May 6th or something.
Oh, we can still do that then. Never did come back.
No, there's nothing, I can't,
Trying's a picture for Ann this week, but I think she's giving us till May 6th, so we could do a dual this year. Have to do it at the next meeting.
you'll have
All right.
I don't even know rainbows or whatever, just to make sure there's nothing.
Usually you don't wanna cut it that close.
Ditches or place there.
Because our next meeting is whatever the first Wednesday in May,
Like I
which
said,
is
I
no
don't-
problem. Fourth.
Fix that, I mean,
So we could get it to you, yeah. Okay, that's what we'll do. We'll make Mark take a new one. Unless you wanna come take a new one.
Doesn't matter to me.
We have enough there for the mock frost.
We could do that. Right, that's what I'm thinking, but I don't know if we'll have enough there.
We should have quite a few of us, because we'll have all of the police and fire guys.
Okay,
Or maybe not,
all right, well.
maybe it's still going.